Good day everyone. For some background information, Polya'S problem-solving strategies was created nearly 100 years ago by a man named George Polya, which is designed with a 4-step method to solve all kinds of problems. This 4-step includes the understand the problem, devise a plan, carry out the plan, and review the solution. Which, in the first step, understanding the problem, which you need to understand what was the problem is being asked. Second step is devise the plan, which you need to make a plan for you to easily execute the problem. And third step, carry out the plan. This is the stage where you execute the plan you have created. And number 4, the last step, review the solution. This is the stage where you're gonna review your whole output to ensure that the solution is correct. So let's dive in for some examples.
Good day everyone. I'm Silent Angel or a Billionaire. Today I will discuss the Polya'S problem-solving strategy by making a list. So let's proceed with the first example. In this problem solving, Ethan has 5 different colors of paint: green, purple, yellow, orange, and pink. How many ways can Ethan choose 2 colors to paint on a white canvas? To make you understand this problem, we will use the 4th step of Polya'S problem solving. First, understanding the problem. Second, devise a plan. Third, carry out the plan. And lastly, review the solution. So, let's proceed to the first step to understand the problem. Ethan has 5 distinct colors of paint: green, purple, yellow, orange, and pink. He needs to select 2 of these colors to paint on a canvas. The order in which he chooses the colors does not matter. For example, green and purple is the same as purple and green. The problem is to find the total number of unique 2 color combinations he can create. So next, we need to devise a plan. By this, we will use 2 methods or approaches. The first one is systematic listing, in which we will systematically list all possible combination of 2 colors from the 5 available colors. And the second is using the combination formula. We will use the total number of unique 2 colors combination. Para mas maintindihan pa lalo, I have list here. The step 3, carry out the plan. This is the all possible combination: green, purple, green, yellow, purple, yellow, purple, orange, yellow, orange, yellow, pink, orange, pink, orange, green, pink, blue, purple, pink, green. So, therefore, there are 10 combinations. But remember the 2 rules, that the 2 combinations of color shouldn't be repeated to another combination of color, just like in this list. So, wala dapat pong mauulit na color. But remember, ordering the color doesn't matter. Hindi na mahalaga kung paano ang pagkakasunod-sunod ng color na ating na-list. So, proceed tayo in method number 2. Using the combination formula, the combination of an object taken r at a time is equivalent to n factorial over r factorial times n minus r factorial, where n is the total number of items or the color, which is the 5 colors. Then R is the number of items to choose, which is the 2 combination. And last, the exclamation mark that denotes the factorial, just like this example. 5 factorial equal 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So in this area, this is the computation of the total color combination. 5C2 equal 5 factorial over 2 factorial times 5 minus 2 factorial. The first step, i-minus muna natin ang naka-parenthesis. Then, it should be 5 factorial over 2 factorial times 3 factorial. Then, using the factorial, habain natin ito. So, the answer is 10 over 1 because we use cancellation. From this solution, we can cancel the same number into 4 and 2 since 4 is divided to 2. So the final answer is 10. Therefore, the combination formula also gives 10 combination. To review this problem, both the systematic listing and the combination formula produce the same result, which is 10 combination. The combination formula is more efficient for a larger set of items, while the list provides a clear visualization and clarification for smaller sets. Therefore, there are 10 ways Ethan can choose 2 colors from 5 colors. So let's proceed to another example. Here is the problem. Joy rolls 2 standard 6-sided dice. What is the probability of getting a sum of 8? So, we use again the fourth step of Polya'S problem solving. To understand this problem, Joy rolls 2 standard 6-sided dice. So, we need to find the probability that the sum of the number rolled on both dice equals 8. The problem requires understanding that each die has 6 faces, and the outcome of one die roll does not affect the outcome of the other. We can call this an independent event. Next is the devise a plan. First, we will list all the possible outcomes of rolls from the 2 dice. Each combination will be represented as an ordered pair, such as die 1 result and die 2 result. The next one is to identify the favorable outcomes. So we will identify the combination from our list where the sum of the 2 dice equals 8. Lastly, we need to apply the probability formula, which is probability A, or the probability of an event, equal the number of favorable outcomes all over the total number of possible outcomes. So let's proceed to the third step, which is to carry out the plan. Number 1, this is the all possible outcomes of the 2 dice. Thus, the total of possible outcomes is 36. So let's find how many 8 numbers are formed by the 2 standard dice. So we need to find the 8th number. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the combination that sum to 8 are 5. In number 2, we need to identify the favorable outcomes, which is the combination that sum to 8 are 2 and 6, 3 and 5, 4 and 4, 5 and 3, and 6 and 2. Therefore, there are 5 favorable outcomes. In number 3, we need to apply the probability formula, which is the number of favorable outcomes is 5, all over the total number of possible outcomes is 36. So the final answer is 5 all over 36. To review the solution, probability of rolling a sum of 8 with two standard 6-sided dice is 5 over 36. This result makes initiative since there are several ways to obtain a sum of 8, but it is not the most likely sum because 7 is the most likely. The systematic listing ensures accuracy in counting the favorable outcomes, and the probability formula correctly calculates the probability based on the number of favorable and the total outcomes. So, the final answer is 5 over 36. So let's proceed in Polya'S problem solving by using drawing a diagram.
Good day everyone, I am Micaela Reyes Archibido and I will be tackling the Polya'S problem solving strategy using the drawing a diagram. Let's have an example. A convenience store sells several snack food at the register. Apples, bananas, oranges, pears, and donuts. An apple costs 6 pesos more than a pear, and oranges cost 3 pesos less than a banana. A banana costs 5 pesos less than an apple, and a donut costs 5 pesos more than an orange. Arrange the snack food from cheapest to most expensive. According to Polya'S problem-solving strategy, there is 4 steps in accomplishing it. Number 1, understand the problem. Number 2, devise a plan. Number 3, carry out the plan. And number 4, review the solution. So let's try implementing the steps in this problem. Number 1 step, understand the problem. In this stage, you need to know what is being asked and the goal of the problem. We can also translate it into Tagalog for your better understanding. So in this problem, the goal is to arrange the snack foods given from the cheapest to the most expensive item. Let's go to step 2. Devise a plan. We can use any different types of strategies, but in this case, we are going to use the drawing a diagram or illustration. We are going to use this illustration below. Let's go to step number 3, carry out the plan. And in this stage, we need to work carefully and try implementing the strategy. So, sabi sa problem, a convenience store sells several snack foods at the register. The apple, banana, oranges, pears, and donuts. And the second line, an apple costs 6 pesos more than a pear. So, hindi pa natin alam kung nasaan yung apple saka yung pear. So, we can assume that the pear can lie here. And sabi daa, ang apple daa costs 6 pesos more than a pear. So, we need to count from the pear to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, the apple can lie here. And proceed tayo sa next. An oranges cost 3 pesos less than a banana. Wala pa naman banana and wala pa tayong orange. So, we can proceed sa next line. A banana costs 5 pesos less than an apple. So, meron na tayong apple here. And sabi daa, the banana costs 5 pesos less than an apple. So, we need to count from the apple to the left to find the banana. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, the banana can lie here. So, meron na tayong banana. So, meron na tayong clue from the third sentence. An oranges cost 3 pesos less than a banana. So, sabi daa, less than, so we need to count from the banana to the left. So 1, 2, 3. The oranges can lie here. So, proceed na tayo sa next, which is the donut. Sabi a donut costs 5 pesos more than an orange. So from the orange, we need to count 5 times to get where the donut lie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the donut can lie here. The last sentence said, arrange the snack food from the cheapest to most expensive. We can start from the orange. Orange, pear, banana, donut, and the apple. So, from the orange, we found out that the orange is the cheapest. And the apple is the most expensive. So let's proceed to the last step. Review the solution. From the first item, we found out that the least expensive item was the orange and the most expensive is the apple. So we effectively apply the Polya'S problem-solving strategies into a drawing a diagram. So let's have another example. In the classroom of Miss Importante, the desks are organized in equal rows. Micaela sits in the desk that is second from the front and fourth from the back. There is only one desk on the right and 3 on the left of Micaela's desk. How many desks are in the room? So, applying the Polya'S problem-solving strategy, understand the problem. The main goal is to know how many desks are in Miss Importante's classroom. Number 2 step is devise a plan. The plan is to illustrate or draw the desk in the problem. Number 3 steps, carry out the plan and try to solve the problem by implementing the plan and doing it carefully to avoid mistakes. So, sabi sa problem, the classroom of Miss Importante, the desks are organized in equal row, and Micaela sits in the desk that is second, right here, from the front row. This is the front row. And fourth at the back. So we can count it from Micaela's seat 4 times from the back. And there is one desk on the right here, and 3 on the left. So, how many desks are in the classroom? And we fill out the missing spaces. And we found out that there is 25 desks in Miss Importante's classroom. So, let's proceed to the next step. Review the solution. From the seat of Micaela, we found out how many desks are in Miss Importante's classroom, and it is 25.
Good day everyone, I am Leonisa Maribas Mayor and I will be discussing the Polya'S problem solving by making a table. Let's have example number 1. Maria sell a lemonade juice for 5 days. On the first day, she earned $8. Every day after that, she earned $3 more than the previous day. how much money she earned in all after 5 days. In solving, don't forget to apply the 4 strategies to solve a problem. First is to understand the problem. In this problem, the goal is to know how much Maria earned in 5 days by selling a lemonade juice. Ang goal daw dito ay malaman kung ilan ang kinita ni Maria sa pagtinda ng lemonade juice. The next strategy is to devise a plan. The plan is to make a table to illustrate the problem. Next is carry out the plan. As you can see, gumawa ako here ng 5 columns and 2 rows. In day 1, Maria earned $8. In day 2, she earned $3 more than the previous day, which is $11. Day 3, $14. Day 4, $17. And day 5 is $20. I use addition to compute all she earned. 20 plus 17 plus 14 plus 11 plus 8 is equals to $70. So for the last strategy is to review the solution. Maria earned $70 after 5 days of selling a lemonade juice. Let's have another example. Lei is saving money for a new iPhone 16 Pro Max. Each week, she doubles the amount she saved from the previous week. If she saved $2 the first week, how much will she save in 8 weeks? Same lang sa strategy na ginawa natin kanina. The first thing we need to do is to understand the problem. The goal is to know how much did she save in 8 weeks for a new iPhone 16 Pro Max. Next is to devise a plan. The plan is to make a table to illustrate the problem. Then after that, let's carry out the plan. Gumawa ulit ako ng 2 rows and 7 columns for the table. In week 1, she saved $2. In week 2, she doubled the amount she saved to $4. Week 3 is $8. Week 4, $16. Week 5, $32. Week 6, $64. Week 7, $128, and week 8 is $256. Add all, 256 plus 128 plus 64 plus 32 plus 16 plus 8 plus 4 plus 2 is equals to $510. The last strategy is to review the solution. Lei saved $510 in 8 weeks for a new iPhone 16 Pro Max.
Hello, so I'm Jasmine Lorzano and I will be giving 2 examples of trying to solve a similar but simple problem. So for example number 1, find the number of rectangles in a 2x6 grid. So to better understand the problem, step 1, identify the grid dimension. So there are 1, 2 rows with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 columns each. So step 2, determine the rectangle types. So count the individual squares and rectangles to form rectangles formed by combining 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 squares. So for step 3, consider rectangle orientations. So rectangles can be horizontal, and vertical. And step 4, clarify the task. So find the total number of unique rectangles within the 2x6 grid. Next, devise a plan. So step 1, count individual squares. Step 2, identify combined rectangles, which is the horizontal and vertical. Step 3, calculate combinations. Step 4, add individual squares, horizontal and vertical rectangles to get the total count. Next, carry out plan. So for number 1, individual squares. So 2 rows times 6 columns is equals to 12 squares. Number 2, horizontal rectangles. So for 2 squares, there are 5 combinations. So 2 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 combinations in 2 squares. So 3 squares have 4 combinations, 4 squares, 3 combination, 5 squares, 2 combination, 6 squares, 1 combination, a total of 15. Number 3, vertical rectangles. So the 2 rows have the same 6 combinations, a total of 12. So for number 4, calculating combinations. So individual squares have 12, horizontal rectangles 15, vertical rectangles 12. So 12 plus 15 plus 12 is equals to 39 total rectangles. To review the solution. So the solution is accurate, comprehensive, and follow the predictable pattern. So the pattern here is for horizontal rectangles, the numbers are decreasing from 5 to 1. And for the vertical rectangles, the numbers or the pattern is consistent. So 6 combinations each. So the total number of rectangles in the 2x6 grid is indeed 39. For example number 2, arrange 4 people in 2 rows of 2 with restrictions. Person A cannot sit next to person B. How many unique arrangements? To understand the problem, arrange 4 people A, B, C, D in 2 rows of 2, ensuring person A and B never sit next to each other. Devise a plan. So step 1, calculate total arrangements without restrictions. And step 2, identify restricted arrangements. And step 3, find the arrangements. So we will subtract the step 1 and step 2. Carry out the plan. So step 1, total arrangements. So there are 4 total positions. Arrange 4 people. 4 factorial equals to 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 is equals to 24. So the 4 factorial, it represents all possible permutations. It is ABCD, ABDC, ACBD, and so on. The total, all 24 total. So divide into 2 rows. So 24 divide this one. 2 times 2 is equals to 4. So 24 divide 4 is equals to 6. So there are 6 total arrangements. So the 6 arrangements are ABCD, ACBD, ADBC, BACD, CABD, and DABC. So step 2, restricted arrangements. For row 1, A and B together, so there are 2, AB or BA. For row 2, C and D automatically fill remaining seats, so there are 2, CD or DC. So 2 plus 2, 2 times 2 is equals to 4. So there are 4 restricted arrangements. So step 3, valid arrangements. So total arrangements minus restricted arrangements. So this is 6 minus 4, so equals to 2. We review the solution. So the total arrangements is 6, restricted arrangements is 4, valid arrangements is 2. So there are 2 unique arrangements where person A and B do not sit next to each other.
Hello everyone, I am Maria Adeline Panambo, and today we will talk about the Polya'S problem-solving strategy, especially focusing on the method of looking for pattern. Looking for pattern means finding a regular sequence or trend in a set of numbers, shape, or events. Looking for patterns also help us understand how things work and predict what comes next. In Polya'S problem-solving strategies, we have 4 steps that we need to follow. First, understand the problem. Second, devise a plan. Third, carry out the plan. Fourth, look back. So, I have prepared 2 examples. First, a group of students in Naga City created an organization aimed at helping people who are victims of typhoons by asking for donation and giving out relief goods. On day 1, there were 7 people in the group. On day 2, they recruited new volunteers and the group grew to 18 people. On day 3, the organization had 40 people, and on day 4, they had 73 volunteers. If the pattern of volunteers recruitment continues, how many students will be in the group of 7th day when they gave out relief goods? Step 1. Understand the problem. According to the problem, we need to determine the number of volunteers on the 7th day given the number of volunteers on the first 4 days, which are for day 1 we have 7 volunteers, day 2 18 volunteers, day 3 40 volunteers, and day 4 73 volunteers. Second step, devise a plan. In this step, we need to think about how to solve the problem by identifying the pattern. Second step, devise a plan. We need to think how to solve the problem by identifying the pattern. In this problem, we have 3 steps. Number 1, create a table containing the data from day 1 to day 4, then calculate the difference in the number of volunteers between each consecutive days. We need to calculate the difference in each consecutive days para malaman natin kung ilang volunteers yung nag-i-increase kada araw. Second, identify the pattern. Third, predict the number of volunteers for day 5 to 7. Since hanggang day 4 lang yung nasa given and day 7 yung hinahanap, we also need to find the number of volunteers sa day 5 and day 6. For step number 3, carry out the plan. I have already prepared the table para i-insert na lang natin yung data. For row number 1, from day 1, row number 2, to day, row number 3, number of volunteers, row number 4, difference between the 2 consecutive days. From day 1, we have 7 volunteers. To day 2, we have 18 volunteers. You can also get your calculator and sabayan niyo ako mag-compute. From day 1 to day 2, we have 11 volunteers. Nag-increase siya ng 11. From day 2 to day 3, we have, day 3, we have 40 volunteers. We have to find the difference between 18 and 40. We have 22. So, it means from day 2 to day 3, nag-increase ng 22 volunteers. From day 3 naman to day 4, we have 33 volunteers. Based sa result ng data natin, we can see na the differences between the days, which are 11, 22, 33, form an arithmetic sequence with a common difference of 11, which shows that the difference in the number of volunteers increases by 11 each day. So, we have an answer for number 2. So there, I already put the answer. So step number 3, predict the number of volunteers for day 5 to 7. So, ilalagay lang natin yung nakuha nating data before. Day 1, we have 7 volunteers. Wala pa siyang difference. For day 2, we have 18 volunteers. Nag-increase ng 11 volunteers from day 1. From day 3, we have 40 volunteers. Nag-increase siya ng 22 from day 2. From day 4, we have 73 volunteers. Nag-increase siya ng 33 from day 3. And for day 5, 6, and 7, wala pa tayong data. Hanapin pa lang natin. So, based on nakuha natin data, each consecutive day is nag-increase ng 11. So, ang gagawin lang natin is mag-add tayo ng 11 para makuha natin yung numbers of volunteers sa mga natitirang days. So, 11 plus 33 is 44. So, for day 5, nag-increase ng 44. So, 73 plus 44 is 117. For day 6, nag-increase ulit ng 11. So, the answer is 55. For day 6, para makuha natin yung numbers ng volunteer, i-add lang natin yung previous number ng volunteers plus yung nakuha nating difference. So, 117 plus 55 is nag-increase, naging na siyang 172. For day 7 naman, 66 plus 172 is 238. Which means na sa day 7, merong 238 na student volunteer na magbibigay ng relief goods. Step 4, review solution. The result shows that if the pattern of volunteers recruitment continues, there will be 238 volunteers on the 7th day. This solution aligns with the observed pattern of increasing differences, which are 11, 22, 33, which formed an arithmetic sequence with a common difference of 11. This means that each day, the increase in the number of volunteers grew by 11 more than the previous day increase. That's for example number 1. Let's now proceed to example number 2. Complete the magic square using the numbers provided below. The sum of each row column, and diagonal must be equal to 30, numbers may be repeated. For this example naman, it kinda looks like a Sudoku, but in this example, pwedeng maulit yung number. So, step 1, understand the problem. We need to complete a 3x3 magic square by finding the missing numbers, which were the sum of each row, column, and diagonal must be equal to 30. We can use the numbers 6, 8, 10, and 12, and numbers may be repeated. Step number 2. Devise a plan. For this problem, we have also 3 steps para ma-solve yung magic square. So, step 1, use the letter first to fill the missing boxes so we can easily identify what comes next without getting too confused. Second step, start with a row or column that already has 2 numbers to easily calculate the missing number. Step number 3, continue calculating carefully and fill the missing numbers for rows, columns, and diagonal. For step number 3, carry out the plan. So, yung first plan natin is mag-add ng letters para hindi tayo malito. Yung second step naman is mag-start sa marong 2 ng numbers so we can easily calculate the missing number. Dito ako mag-start sa baba since 2 na sila. Letter B. Here. Letter C. Letter D. Here. And letter E. Here. So, once na malagay na natin yung mga letter, alam na natin yung pasunod-sunod. So, step number 2 is magka-calculate tayo. In this problem, pwede natin i-add lang yung 2 numbers and then yung remaining is hahanapin natin dito sa pilian and it must be equal to 30. So, 8 plus 14 is 22. So, 8 yung kulang natin. 8 here. Letter B, so we already have 8 and 12. So, we can just add the 2 numbers. So, we have 20. 10 na lang yung kulang para maging 30, kaya this is 10. For letter C, we have already 2 numbers na din. So, i-add na lang natin. 14 plus 10 is 24. Para maging 30 is kulang ng 6. So, the answer is 6. For letter D, we have 12 and 6. I-add lang natin. And ang kulang is 12. So, the answer is 12. For letter E, we have 8 and 12. So, i-add ulit natin. So, we have 20. So, ang kulang ay 10. And there, complete na natin yung magic square box. For step number 4 is review solution. So, for rows, we have 8 plus 10 plus 12 is 30. 14 plus 10 plus 6 is 30. 8 plus 10 plus 12 is 30. Sa columns naman, 8 plus 14 plus 8 is 30. 10 plus 10 plus 10 is 30. 12 plus 6 plus 12 is 30. For diagonals naman, 8 plus 10 plus 12 is 30. 8 plus 10 plus 12 is 30. So, na-complete na natin sila and na-follow natin yung rules na it must be equals to 30. And that's all for looking for patterns. I hope that you learned something. Thank you.
Good day everyone, my name is Adreline Paular and today we will be tackling about the Polya'S strategy using the guess and check. So what is the guess and check? The guess and check is a problem-solving strategy that can be used to solve mathematical problem by guessing the answer and then checking that the guess fits the conditions of the problem. So In this po, we are more on trial and error hanggang sa ma-meet natin yung tamang sagot. And make a guess and check to see if it satisfies the demands of the problem. If it doesn't, alter the guess and check again until a solution has been found. So, kapag hindi natin nakuha yung sagot, is, syempre, uulit tayo hanggang sa mahanap natin yung correct answer. So, let's move on to first example. Sarah and her friends are studying together when she came up with a good idea to challenge her friends with a math puzzle. She asked them to find 4 consecutive numbers that when we added together will total of 98. Her friends must determine this number to win the challenge. Can you figure out what these 4 consecutive numbers are? So, applying the Polya'S strategy, let's start first in step 1, which is understanding the problem. We need to find 4 consecutive numbers that add up to 98. Think about the 4 consecutive numbers. For example is 1, 2, 3, 4, or such as 12, 13, 14, 15. Like that. So now we understand now the problem. Let's move on to the step number 2, which is to devise a plan. Write the equation for the sum of these 4 consecutive numbers and set it to equal 98. Solve the equation to verify if the 4 consecutive numbers will equal to 98. So, we already had a plan. Let's move on to the next level, which is carry out the plan. Set up the equation, the 4 consecutive numbers. So, setting up the consecutive numbers, here's the first column where 4 consecutive numbers, or we can call it addends, and on the other column is the sum to see the total of these 4 consecutive numbers. So let's start guessing. Do you have any guess kung anong number ang pwede nating itry? Let's say 15, 16, 17, and 18. So, if we add this 4 consecutive number, 15 plus 16 plus 17 plus 18 is equal to 66. So, masyado pa siyang mababa, guys. Let's try something around 28, 29, 30, and 31. So, if we add this, 28 plus 29 plus 30 plus 31 is equal to 118. So, masyado na siyang mataas. 118 is too high. So, let's try something lower pero sakto lang. Let's try around 20. 20, 21, 22, and 23. There. So, if we add this, 20 plus 21 plus 22 plus 23 is equal to 90. So, malapit na siya sa given sum natin, which is the 98. So, let's try to think again for consecutive numbers like 23 plus 23, 24, 25, and 26. So if we add this, 23 plus 24 plus 25 plus 26 is equal to 98. So, we got now the given sum. So, moving on to the next, which is to solve for the sum. Let's try again. 23 plus 24 plus 25 plus 26 is equal to 98. So there. Verify the sum if you add all of these four consecutive numbers. Therefore, the sum will be 98. So, we've verified now that these four consecutive numbers is equal to the sum of 98. So, let's move on to the next step, which is the review of the solution. We found that if we add the four consecutive numbers, 23 plus 24 plus 25 and 26 will total of 98. So the solution is correct and the sum matches the given total. So, yun guys. So may idea na kayo kung paano yung guess and check, diba? The first try of consecutive numbers natin is masyadong mababa nung una. So, the next try is too high. Then we think about the number na malapit sa third try natin to get the correct consecutive numbers, diba? So, ganun siya guys. The harder you try to guess, the closer you are to the correct answers. Another example is, in a vegetables garden, there are 9 special planets arranged in a 3x3 grid. Each plant has a unique numbers of healthy vegetables. The total numbers of vegetables in each rows, each columns, and each diagonals must add up to 15. Help the garden keeper find the number of vegetables on each plant so that all the rows, columns, and diagonal are balanced. So, given na yung grid and some numbers are already given, such as 4 and 8 in the first column, 5 to the second, and 2 to the third. Starting again the Polya'S strategy, which is the first step is understanding the problem. We know that all the rows, columns, and diagonals must sum to 15. Some plants or numbers are still missing, and we need to figure out the correct number for those positions. Our goal is to fill in the grid so that the sum of every rows, columns, and diagonals are equal to 15. So, the next step is to devise a plan. Start by using the numbers that are already given, which is 4, 2, 5, and 8, to make educated guesses for the missing numbers. The sum of each rows, columns, and diagonals should be 15. Begin with the central number 5 as it involved in multiple sums such as rows, columns, and diagonals, and use it as a reference point. Think about what number could be missing when we added the two given numbers that will result to 15. So, guys, we already had a plan now, so let's carry out the plan. First, solve the first row since the two numbers is already given. So, the sum should be 15. What could be the possible number na when I add these three number, it will result to 15? Is it 7? Let's try. 4 plus 7 plus 2 is equal to 13. So, kulang ng dalawa, di ba? Kasi 13. So, to simplify, mag-add lang tayo ng 2 numbers sa 7 and it will be 9. So, if we add these numbers, 4 plus 9 plus 2 is equal to 15. Therefore, the first row become 4, 9, and 2. So, moving on to the second column, has already given, has a 2 numbers and which is 9 and 5. We can now add the two numbers and think about the possible missing number. And the sum should be 15, diba? So, what could be the possible number na when I add these three numbers, it will result to 15? So, madali lang, diba? Diba, pag inad natin yung 9 plus 5 is equal to 14. So, yung sum natin is 15. So, 1 na lang yung kulang, diba? So, the missing number would be number 1. Because if we add this, 9 plus 5 plus 1 is equal to 15. So, therefore, the missing number will be 1. And going back to the first column, which is the 4 and 8 is already given, we can now easily find the missing number. The sum should be 15. So, let's try adding this first two given number para malaman natin kung ilan ang kulang, just like we did kanina. 4 plus 8 is equal to 12. So, ilan yung kulang na number doon? Diba? 3. So, the missing number could be 3. So, if we add this, 4 plus 3 plus 8 is equal to 15. Therefore, the missing number will be 3. If we add this, 4 plus 3 plus 8 is equal to 15. To complete the missing numbers in third column, we have to solve the second row, which is 3 and 5, and the last row, which is the 8 and 1. So first, when we add the 3 and 5 is equal to 8. So, ilan yung kulang na number? Diba? 7. So, therefore, the missing number will be 7. If we add this, 3 plus 5 plus 7 is equal to 15. So, the last row, which is 8 and 1, if we add this, 8 plus 1 is equal to 9. So, the missing number would be 6, right? If we add this, 8 plus 1 plus 6 is equal to 15. Therefore, the answer is 6. Now, let's move on to the last step, which is the review the solution. Verify that each row's columns in diagonals is summed up to 15. Let's verify it. 4 plus 9 plus 2 is equal to 15. 3 plus 5 plus 7 is equal to 15. 8 plus 1 plus 6 is equal to 15. Let's move on to the column. 4 plus 3 plus 8 is equal to 15. Moving on to the second column, 9 plus 5 plus 1 is 15. Moving on to the third column, 2 plus 7 plus 6 is equal to 15. Moving on to the diagonal, 4 plus 5 plus 6 is equal to 15. And the last, 8 plus 5 plus 2 is equal to 15. So, we've now verified that all the rows, columns in diagonals are summed up to 15. And I hope you guys learned the Polya'S strategy, guess and check, and that would be all for now, and thank you.